Let's introduce you to the folks who are going to be talking tonight. I actually have notes up here so I can introduce myself. This is the kind of night we have in front of us. All right, so I'm Casey Ross. I'm the Director of Change Strategy here at Clockwork. My job is to help us all make sure that folks are adopting what we build, right? And so I collaborate with these folks and many others to make sure that happens, that we build in adoption from day one. So I'm just going to hand it over to you all. Jed, you want to grab it?
It's on. Yes.
Go for it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jed Anderson. I'm a software architect here at Clockwork. I work in a small group. This is the way that Clockwork is organized. So a small group of professionals, and we address the problems of the clients that are brought to us. And so I bring my architecture expertise to that small group and work with other professionals to solve the problems that our clients have. I'll hand it over to Sonia.
Howdy, I'm Sonia. I am an engineer who's been at Clockwork on and off for 15 years, most of that 15 years. And I started by breaking things. Now I make things and break them so you don't have to. And then fix them again so you don't have to. And we do a lot of that with AI. I drive a lot of that internally. I'll hand it over to Carly.
I got my own mic.
I know. I'm sorry. I will verbally hand it over to Carly.
I'm Carly Stevens. I'm a client strategist at Clockwork. What that means in the sense of this audience, I connect our clients to our teams so that we can help deliver great work and help support their business outcomes. So product strategy, project management. I also partner with a tech lead to lead a delivery team of really incredible engineers, UXers, designers, you name it. So wearer of many hats.
I think that's true of everyone on the group here, and you'll start to hear that in how questions get answered. Everyone is approaching this work from a different angle, and I think it contributes to really useful conversations, so that's where we're going to spend a lot of our time today. For folks here and online, you've seen the QR code, you've seen the URL. We will have Q&A towards the end. Feel free to throw your questions in there at any time. If you see a question in there that you really, really, really want to make sure we answer, thumbs up it, and we will do that. We will get to that. But first, I get to ask questions because I have the mic. I'm going to throw it to Carly first. What would you say is true about how we do product development here at Clockwork, regardless of whether AI is involved, just straight up product development?
Great question, Casey. This is going to sound really cliche maybe, but I'd say the humans remain at the center of everything that we do, regardless of whether AI is supporting the work and accelerating the work. We put people first, whether that's at the beginning of the project, making sure that our problems are solving the user's actual needs. We have the right people in the room. We're getting diverse perspectives across the business. We're bringing our entire team along at Clockwork throughout the entire project. There's no handoffs. With user research, we're making sure that we're bringing in all of these diverse audiences. We're getting different perspectives, all the way to the very end, making sure that we're focused on the end goals of making sure the users can actually use the thing and then it's being adopted. So regardless of whatever stage that is, whether AI is helping us accelerate different pieces of that flow, humans are always what is driving our decisions and our next steps and what we build.
I could add on to that. Humans are also accountable for the work that we do, which has become a theme I think we've started to hear with AI being introduced into the workforce. Who is in charge and who is accountable. And so we continue to bring that forward so that the team is, that's where the buck stops.
All right. No, I appreciate that. When we talk about that accountability, I know the way we tend to work is across these teams. You guys have already talked about the teams. Teams will often have a couple engineers, maybe a UX designer, maybe a change strategist, almost always either a project manager or a client strategist. So lots of different minds at work together. And as Carly said, no handoffs, right? So how do you all work across these disciplines or skill sets? Like, what makes it work well? Where have you had sticking points? How do you navigate, to sort of use a dirty dancing reference, like my dance space versus your dance space, you know? Like, how does that work? I don't know whoever wants to sort of take that first.
Historically, not my job has been the, like, you don't say that at Clockwork, right? Like that was historically the case, and in this modern age, it's more, people can do more and more things across discipline boundaries, and like it's almost the total opposite of not my job. It's like, where can I help? How can I move the next thing forward? I don't maybe have all the knowledge I need, but I can get it or get the resources or move things forward in a way that I've never been able to before in 2026. So it's, and still centering humans along the way.
Can you give me a for instance?
For instance, we didn't want to do Windows maintenance on like a system that's been around for a long, long time, at least 12 years. And there were decisions that were made in whatever president was president back then's era. And we'd been trying to modernize this platform with this client, and with the way we've been working in the last 12 months, we said, let's just try to modernize it for them for what we think it would cost to maintain. To bring a legacy Windows system into a modern Windows era. And the scale of work we did, I don't know, I think this maybe would have been a 3,000 hour project before, and took less than 10% of that in total time to do. And we were able to, through that whole process, I was able to involve different accountability, folks that had stakes in this, whether it was my client, the stakeholder there, or whether it was my UX person. And I need to be like, hey, we have an opportunity to improve the accessibility here that they've maybe been sticky about in the past. Let's just do it for them. What can we do? And so it's been a really, couldn't think about that in 2024, the way we're able to this year.
Nice. Carly, what you got?
I would like to follow up on kind of how we're working across teams at Clockwork. I think a big thing that stands out to me is the team culture, and a big driver here is trust. So being able to trust your team, both their skill set, their ideas, their honesty, and using that along the way to help manage expectations, because like you said, our T's are getting wider, our collaboration is growing, which can open doors to stepping on toes and lack of role clarity. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we've been there, right? We're still learning kind of, where does it make sense to stay in your lane? Where is it helpful to reach out of your lane and kind of try something different? But managing expectations, being honest, having clear communication within your team, no drama. Like, I love to say I have zero drama on my team, and I love that. I don't know if you can say that in a lot of places, but we respect each other. So I think regardless of what the work is and what the tools we're using or the processes or the phases clients are doing or not doing, it really comes down to how our teams are kind of supporting each other. And I think trust and accountability and managing those expectations together to say, here's how I understand my work, and here's the ways that I can help you, and just being really honest about where you want to kind of help play that role.
Okay, I have questions about that, but can you explain the T, and then I'll get back to you, Jen.
Yes, so our kind of general skill set is broadening. I'm myself not an engineer, but as of the past month, I can now push PRs, and I can write code. So there have been doors opened to the types of skills that I have because of AI, and also just because of a blend of knowledge that I'm learning from my teammates. My team in particular has had some turnover with UXers. To fill that gap, I have had to step in. I'm learning all kinds of ways, but I also have natural instincts and things that I like to lean into, and I can trust my colleagues to help support me in those ways and network across teams to bring people in. So I think it's just broadening that skill set across the organization for yourself.
Right. Yeah, when we talk about T, we talk about the vertical part being real deep in expertise and the crossbar being, a breadth of different kinds of expertise. What you got?
Wanted to add on to what Sonia said about being able to build things as a team and then also providing evidence back to the team. And something I've seen Sonia do really, really well is generating, it's AI generated content, but it is for a specific person on the team. It's either for a UXer or it's for the project manager or it's for the client. And that evidence is then passed around in the team, and it really does enable things really well. The other thing I wanted to bring to the table is we've seen a lot of different, especially on the projects I've been working on, a lot of different results based off of who is prompting the AI. And so by bringing the entire team, which we have always done, we've always brought the entire team to the problem, but by bringing the entire team to then the AI as well, we get a diverse response, and I think it makes for a better product.
That's great. What I'm starting to think about here, and I'm going to go a little bit off script, is thinking about the kinds of questions that we ask. And I'm wondering, how do the questions that you all ask as teams contribute to that ability to work across disciplines, that ability to build out that T? Do you see what I'm driving at?
Sure. I guess so. Yes, I do. No, a beautiful vision, Casey. Thank you.
Fight.
I'll say I can contribute if you'd rather I start, because I have thoughts.
Yeah.
But
I actually was gonna. Yeah. Okay. I can speak to that a little bit. Actually, why don't you ask the question again, because we had a joke and now I could use another prompt.
Sure. No, what you guys already started getting into was this idea of, or you were alluding to, I think, the ability to ask the right questions enables you to think about, what is the client going to need? What is my colleague who does a different kind of job going to need to be able to help with this project? What is, how does asking the right question or getting creative with your question asking enable better product development, enable you to, and enable that sort of cross team collaboration?
Yeah, I'll back up even farther. It starts with hiring people who are empathetic and fostering a culture of people who can put themselves in somebody else's shoes. And so we try to do that all the time. Be the client in the room. If you don't have anything to contribute with your own expertise, just try to be empathetic. And then we start asking questions about, what problem are you trying to solve? You've brought a solution to us. Maybe we should back up and see what problem you're trying to solve. Any other questions that we would normally ask?
I'm actually just gonna riff off of that with a conversation I was having with Siri just a little bit ago, actually, about being able to put yourself in their shoes and, like you said, being empathetic. What is it that they're actually trying to solve? What are we trying to get to? Not starting with a solution first. I think that drives a lot of where our team goes. And rather than prescribing that solution and putting those requirements in a story, share the experience, share the walkthrough so that your team really has a full understanding of, like, what are people trying to do here? What are our end goals for the user? Rather than, great, I'm project leadership and I'm going to dictate how this is going to be done and you just need to complete it. It's broader thinking than that. And I think Clockwork is always really good at that. And we just have folks who can kind of take a step back, put yourself in their shoes, and brings new, different ideas and different solutions than the client may have showed up with.
Tech is no longer the blocker. That's like, I haven't been blocked on a coding problem in 3 years, which is incredible. Maybe I've gone and asked my peers to see if they have any good ideas, but I've never actually been stuck for more than an hour. And that was not the way the world was before. The way it is now, we're able to say, we can remove tech as the equation. As engineers, oh my gosh, Jed and I were so good at saying why some things were a bad idea, right? Or why we can't do a thing for a client because it's going to screw their budget.
Haters.
The things that are going to host the budget they end up being people problems and process stuff that gets drawn out. It's not the technology anymore. We don't
You're
get...
trying to blame me, Sonia?
No, clients. I'm trying to blame clients. So that's an exciting place to be that we did not experience until very recently.
So I'm going to build on this. So then let's get right into it, sort of AI as a product development facilitator. I'm curious, so what work is possible with a small team now using AI tools that wasn't, say, like 18 months ago, versus what's still aspirational? And we'll get to that in a second, or sort of FOMO and people are overselling. But I'm curious to start with, what can we do now with a small team that we weren't able to do? And let's get into maybe some more specifics. We can still anonymize, but I'm curious, I'd love to hear some real stuff.
I have thoughts. I mean, your example earlier is like a shining example of what we could do. That is a project I personally wanted to do for 4 years, and it was never realistic. And I handed over to Sonia, and she said, "Hold my beer," and out we have a Laravel migration, and it was incredible. Yeah. And have a new UI, and have all this improvement with accessibility. So I just want to kudos, that also is relevant here. But an example from my team, my delivery lead, Kevin, I think you're on the Zoom, hi. And I have been working on a project for, I don't know, maybe a year, and we did some really awesome discovery. We built a prototype in Figma. Designer did some incredible work. It was clickable, it was great, but there's still something that just didn't quite hit the mark, and it didn't land with the client initially. It was just really hard to get the buy-in that they needed without having a workable solution on their phone. And so Kevin and I, with a handful of hours and my zero engineering skills, were able to actually bring this Figma demo into code and presented it to our client, and they were super excited, and we'll see where it goes. It's actually an active project in flight, but to see that two people, one who is a non-engineer, were able to kind of riff off of this idea and collaborate and bring that to life is just something that it still blows my mind. We could have never done that before.
We had an accessibility. We were doing an accessibility audit for a protected experience, and if you've ever tried to use an accessibility tool that evaluates your application and requires authentication, everybody's solution appears to require some sort of hand-holding by an engineer. And we were able to take out the vendor, me and my UX teammate, and in less time than she would have spent on a support call with an engineer trying to get logged in, she built a tool that was able to generate artifacts that had real contrast measurements and real element issues and real improvement, tangible stuff we could do for the client that she could immediately take and turn into another document. And she could validate it if she needed. She already knew where the problems were, but this took a lot of the toil out of it for her, and she was able to deliver this report. We went over it today. It was fantastic. It was and she and I, we spent an hour, 2 hour on a Zoom, and another hour after that, which is, I don't know, going back and forth with vendors. That sounds like way more fun.
Can you talk a little bit about what I'm hearing is the time saving, and you've talked a little bit about the budget saving for the client as well, but I'm curious about, you just started into it, that it allowed the team to validate what your colleague already kind of knew to be true. How?
Well, it allowed us to collect evidence, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it allowed us to collect evidence that we were able to bring to the client in an efficient manner. If Kyle would have gone through that site page by page, take screenshots, highlight things in some sort of imaging editing program, or doing clever stuff using web tools, it would have taken 3 times as long. Mm-hmm. And she'd still have the same artifact, and she wouldn't be smarter. Now she's smarter. She knows how to do these things. She's brought it to another site immediately the next day after that and was like, hey, look what I can do. And it's continuing to pay dividends. And we're seeing not just with that, but I keep telling people we can dream, and then we can put like, we can't do all of our dreams, right? But we can do, because I still got to go to work.
I challenge you.
But we can dream, and actually, like, if we would have said no 2 years ago, well, we would probably say, maybe, yeah. What can we do? Like, what new things are available? What new ways can we do things? Or what does the client really need? Is what we get down to.
Yeah, nice.
So I've got a couple thoughts here.
Go for it.
Backing way up in the process. So we're a consultant group, so obviously we need to bid on projects. We need to find projects to bid on. So we're using AI to gather projects that we might want to bid on. So that's really interesting. Then the sales process, Jason and I were talking to one of our clients about adding single sign-on to their platform. And it used to be that we would spend, I don't know, days, months, probably weeks coming up with a proposal for, like, it's going to take this long and we have to think about all these things. And I was able to have a conversation with the bot and come up with all of the gotchas beforehand. So that's really good, because it means we've reduced our risk. And then out of that, I was able to say, okay, now I need a version of this content for Jason, our sales guy, so that he can have that sales conversation. And then at the same time, I needed a version of it for the project manager that would take over that work, so that they could evaluate, like, did you think about all the things? And then at the tail end, we've been doing some really interesting work of taking requirements and turning them into user acceptance tests, and then saying, we want to write automated tests to address those. So we hand over the user acceptance test to the client to say, these are the tests that we think you should run to validate our work. And at the same time, we're validating it in-house by having the bot create automated tests for us. So that's you can use it all throughout the cycle. And if you get creative about it, you can actually bring artifacts right from the start all the way through to the end. And I'm super excited about that, seeing that come to fruition.
That's fun. It's never been more tangible to make improvements.
Sonia's jazzed.
Yes.
It's always good when Sonia's jazzed. I'm actually going to contribute a little bit as well. So of us four, I would say I'm probably the slowest adopter of AI, or the maybe most skeptical, though I'm not fully skeptical. I'm just cautious about where and when I want to use it. And yet, there's some really interesting, so I work in change and adoption, right? So my whole thing is behavior change. And my interests lie in a lot of, leadership coaching and one-on-one and groups of folks and sort of talking in folks and that. And there is a lot of discussion in the field around what's the future of the field. What does this mean? What's going to happen, for us? And a lot of, people trying to automate things that are hard to automate because it's humans and whatever. But I was looking at an issue that is something we've done in the field for a long time, which is basically analyzing when changes stack up against your team. So if you have just a bunch of things that are happening all at the same time, you kind of want to look at them and say, how much is going on with this team right now, and can they take one more thing, or are they going to lose their minds, right? And you can do this with an Excel spreadsheet. It's not very elegant. I don't love it. It's not great. And so one weekend, I thought, well, Claude probably knows some things, right? And so I played with Claude over and over and over and over and over again. This is the thing, you gotta be a little patient, right? And it wasn't out of fear of my job necessarily, though there's always that a little bit in the back of your mind, I think a little bit, or like fear that your job's gonna change a little bit. It wasn't really fear-based, but it was like, maybe this thing can help me and maybe I don't have to be so salty about it. And it was able to create, and it's sort of, I don't know, I guess that's vibe coding, right? A version of this heat map that was actually pretty decent. It was pretty much what I wanted it to be. And because I work here, I was able to come in and say, okay, I've gotten this as far as I can take it. Now what? And Carly's colleague, Kevin, helped me out and said, here, I can help you now put this in a place where we can use it with clients. We can talk about it. We can make it more, it doesn't just exist, on my laptop or in my Claude instance. And so for someone who is a little more skeptical, for those who are thinking about their jobs, who are thinking about their careers, there is opportunity to sort of, I would say, be curious and be playful with it and try things, because there's more that's possible than maybe you think. But I'd also like to ask you guys if you see anything in where things are overblown, or where you think we're not there yet.
I'm looking at Carly because she just told me something today.
Not to be a buzzkill, but yeah, I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, I don't mean to keep taking the mic, but I got a lot of thoughts. I think the biggest struggle for me with AI right now, that it really is, it feels more like a waste of time than something that's helpful, is with visual. So doing any kind of graphic design, diagramming. I cannot tell you how many hours I have dumped into trying to get prototypes to be accurate and workable, to get them to read Figma files and replicate things, you know, when our designers are busy and they have no capacity, and I just want to take this thing from Figma and get it into this example. It just falls short every time, and I spend more time kicking my computer than actually getting anything done, so then I just have to go into Figma and do it myself. So I just found, for me, and maybe I need to improve my prompting, or, you know, what types of tools or models I'm using, and I'm still learning that and navigating, like, where does this make sense, or where does this fall down? But AI still just seems better for the logical side of things, or general brainstorming, but I certainly don't see it accelerating in the graphic design space, not in the tomorrow future, at least.
Any other thoughts on that? Otherwise, I'm going to go on to some of the. Oh,
No,
Adam?
we don't. Sonia and I are fully on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
I mean, AI runs like a lot of my life. I'm using a personal assistant at home to go on the internet so I don't have to, right? Like, it's like, that is ultimately what it's doing for me, because certain parts of the internet are so hostile or tedious or whatever, and now I just have a convenient chat interface, and I'm like, I need to sell a lawnmower on Craigslist, and it's like, give me a photo, and I'll do the research and post it for you, and it's great, it's amazing. So I'm on board.
That's everything you need, Sonia.
It's everything you need. It's good. So that's. I think we've kind of answered one of the questions. I've already started digging into the questions we've gotten in on the Q&A about sort of negative sides of using AI, and how are you mitigating. Anything else you'd want to add in that?
I just
to
see
answer
Jay
that
getting
specific-
excited, and I want to just break
Jay,
the fourth
you have
wall
the
really
QR
quick.
code.
I know you don't have a way to ask questions on the Zoom, so
Well,
make sure we
that's
collect
true.
that.
Well, no, on the Zoom they have the QR code and the
He
thing.
doesn't have the.
All right. Well, okay. Let me finish answering the question, then I'll come bug you. Okay? Okay. You answer.
I've never seen Jay be so excited.
Yeah, did you want to?
So sorry, we were talking about, like, what are some of the negative things?
Yeah.
And adoption by organizations is one of the hardest things for me right now in my job, is getting an organization to accept our use of AI. And there are good reasons, right? They are concerned about security. They're concerned about their data getting out there, things like that. And so it's a spot where the industry needs to really support these larger organizations in a way that they can feel comfortable. And we need to, as Clockwork, provide them with safeguards and promises as well.
Also, AI isn't the answer to everything. Bolting AI onto a product is not going to lead to more customers, right? The right AI doing the right thing makes a lot of sense. I mean, you can do, where AI is really incredibly strong right now is accelerating internal processes. Like, it's amazing right now in that place. Putting it in consumer-facing stuff is a scary minefield, which I would love to take on, but it's terrifying because of the potential vectors for making your company look bad or making a client look bad. So there's a lot of care there, but internal processes, it's amazing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not actually solving something, I mean, how many times do we hear from clients saying, my company told me to implement AI. They don't care what it is, just do something so we can be relevant. And it's like, but what is AI solving? And I'm not discrediting, I'm sure teams are coming up with great ideas as we are of actual valid use cases that are helpful, but in many other cases, you're just slapping something out there that's creating more risk, more investment, and more cleanup later than actually using it with a purpose.
Yeah, I've
I
never
think
seen
that's
so much
the-
FOMO in my life. Yeah.
I will say, kind of piggybacking on what you said, and actually work that you did. You know, we had a client that had a product portfolio portal, and in that were, I don't know, thousands of images, tens of thousands of images, none of which had alt tags because their content managers had not been adding that necessary data. And we were able to utilize an internal process that allowed us to trust that the AI would do the right thing, but then verify that it actually did the right thing. And that's a mantra that we've kind of been chanting. I think, did you coin that or did you coin that? Trust but verify?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess the Soviets coined that.
Or Reagan, maybe.
1980s era mantra, but
Cold War,
anyway,
yeah.
something that we've been following a lot, you know, making sure that there is a human in that process to verify that we've done the right things. Maybe we will end up writing a tool that helps us verify that, but definitely having a gate where there is some human interaction.
Yeah. Jay, I know you had to, yeah, bring it.
I just wanted to add, like, I don't see AI right now replacing experts. I could go to an LLM. I don't know how to make a rocket engine. I can go make a wonderful plan for building a rocket engine right now, and it's probably going to blow up. So that's we still need experts guiding the LLMs, right, and verifying.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. Awesome. I am starting to get into the Q&A here already because we've hit a lot of the stuff we really wanted to. The good question here, how thin are our resources spread? How many different teams does a single individual contributor serve on? Wondering, Carly, if you want to maybe hit that since you're sort of running
I
a
guess
team.
we haven't really talked about like exactly how
Yeah.
Clockwork is structured. We have 4 dedicated agile teams. I don't know if using the term agile teams is getting antiquated, but that's what we've called them. And it's really a mix because there's different levels of expertise, and they've evolved, you know, over time with different turnover, different skill sets or project needs. But generally, we've had 4 core teams, a few engineers, a client strategist or project manager. Some have UX and design. We also have UX and design on our free agents. So Casey and Carisha on our change side, as well as our UX and designers, are what we call free agents. So they actually kind of plug into different teams as projects are needed, while they are also supporting their own discipline together as a team. So kind of flex experts for us. And yeah, it really kind of depends on the project, but we'll allocate that to the different teams accordingly.
I'll also add that unlike some other consulting firms which have one client project per team, you work on one project full time for however long you work on it. For the most part, most of our teams.
Speak for yourself.
I know. For the most part, that's why I'm doing that. Most of our teams have more than one client project at the same time.
And the individual resources, it can also vary, but that used to be real stressful. It's not stressful anymore, at least for me. I can fire off my day's tasks on 3 clients and not break, and not have to worry about it. I can deliver excellently in a single day for 3 clients, 4
I think
clients.
the term spread thin is like
Yeah.
not quite
Yeah,
applicable
it's not
here.
it's
Right.
not the same thing as it used to be.
And I'll add to that the idea of like how we're panicking is going away, I think, And there were times, right, where like there were so many things that you had to get done, and now the AI is allowing us to be more relaxed and to actually bring more of our expertise to the table, because we have the space to do that. And so it's opened
Casey
that
has
up.
words.
No, I was just going to follow up because I wanted you. What is it actually that has changed? How do you have the space? Why do you have the space now? Why are you not stressed out as much?
The toil, and this is Sonia's term. So as a software engineer, there was a portion of your day was thinking about how do I solve this hard problem? And then the rest of the day was fighting with the compiler and the tooling and the deployment, and all of that toil is gone. The AI deals with the toil, and we just think about, okay, is that the right way to solve the problem? Is this even the right problem to be solving, right? And so we get to think about all those things. What's the phrase you've been using? You're now a what?
You're a manager or a supervisor, right? Supervisor is a magic word I tell a lot of my agents when I'm coding, because I'm like, you're the supervisor. Make sure we go check to make sure that bug report we got, that's a real bug. Go verify that. Once you verified that, grab the extra info. Make sure you take some screenshots, then go over and let's fix it, and then have a new agent verify that. Supervisor, your job is make sure all these things stay in line. And they do the thing. The supervisor's like, hey, look at this beautiful thing my team made, and then I show my team, and it does one of those while it's working on the other app that I'm working on over here, and then I go to a meeting, and the other app's done, and then I can bounce to the other thing, and it's a lot of dopamine hits, because it's a lot of victories that are happening really quick. It's like playing a multiplayer video game and having a lot of wins, scoring lots of points. Yeah.
The other thing I just thought of, I feel like we are now waiting on our clients a whole lot more than we used to.
Yeah.
And the AI has accelerated our work to the point where now we have to have, like Sonia said, many things going at the same time to fill our days, which has led to, we've had discussions internally about, are we getting burnt out here because we're answering a lot of really hard problems or really hard questions every single day. By the end of the week, you're just like, my brain is gone. I've got nothing more here to give. So we're trying to find that balance as well.
Well, and I would love to come back to something. I think you're the one that mentioned it, Jed, but for anybody, when you have, as a manager, you're having all of your, agents do this work, where does the human come back in, and that human accountability come back in? How are you making sure that you know that you've set the right strategy? How are you making sure that it's been executed well?
So we have a lot of senior employees here, senior engineers, especially here at Clockwork, who've made software or known about the right way to make software for a very long time. And budgets and timelines have maybe made it difficult to do things the right way every time. Timelines are, but like it's not an issue anymore. It's so, like I'm shipping, we've had this conversation a number of times where we're shipping the best, strongest, best tested code we've ever shipped, and faster than ever. It's been really transformative, and I don't experience the same exhaustion that you do. I'm still getting nurtured by it. Maybe that's based on volume. I don't know.
Sure. Well, let me keep us moving, because I know we're coming on a little time, and I'm getting like 3 thumbs up on this one. Of course, we're going to get this question, so we're going to have to keep it a little bit narrow, because the answer is going to be massive. What AI tools are you using, and how are you incorporating them in your product development? So I'm wondering, maybe you can give us your top 3 or something like that.
I think it's no secret at Clockwork. We've played with most of the big ones. We started with, on the engineering side, we started with Cursor. That's a hit with the CS folks right now.
You took my answer.
Like Cursor, but we're drinking the Claude juice really hard right now. Claude Code is a very effective tool for us at Clockwork, and all the other tools are great too. But it's been great to standardize some workflows and share knowledge and just keep leveling up as these tools level up. We keep trying the new stuff too, because it's shiny and everything is introducing new ideas.
Yeah, at least from a client strategist side of things, I know we're doing a ton on the engineering side. It's maybe a little bit of a different story on the strategist side. But for me, I've picked up Cursor. I'm really curious to try out a couple of other new things, but that's something that I'd started with that just kind of stuck, and I've gotten some good things set up with the help of my lovely engineering friends. But it's enabled me to do kind of the typical planning elements like creating PRDs or documentation, simplifying emails or communications, or writing effective stories with templates, helping kind of take some of the basic day-to-day things and like you said, removing the toil and just making those things a little bit easier. And it doesn't remove the human side of it. Like, I'm still reviewing everything it's putting together. It just does it way faster than I would do it, and that gives me more space to do the other planning work. Like, I found with roadmaps and things, I still need to be super involved documenting those out because, AI just doesn't have all of the context, and the time it takes me to give it all the context, I might as well just do it myself. So there are some elements that still I haven't found for me in the work I'm doing as effective. But even being able to plug into, Bitbucket and GitLab and being able to actually write code or run an agent. I can write a story in Jira, and this agent will actually pick up my story and generate something, and I can view it and validate it and then submit a PR to my engineering team. That helps remove that effort from them for a small bug I might have found, or an iteration on something pretty minor, improving styles on something, or adding a field to a form, or something very minor that just wastes some time from engineers and allows you guys to do the gnarly stuff. So I've been using Cursor for a myriad of things, and it's opened a lot of doors for me.
I'll jump in with, there are a lot of tools that you're already using that have AI extensions. So maybe you're using Monday.com or Jira or Confluence. All of those have an MCP, which allows the LLM to talk to those repositories of record. And that has been a huge time saver for me. We set up in a project, like anytime you're gonna create a ticket, use this Jira thing, this Jira slug, and create it over here with this template. And so it's not so much the tools as it is the integration and making all the tools talk that really accelerated things. So
We've
for example,
systematized those.
what's that?
Those connections, we've systematized them in a way that's repeatable.
Yeah, and so we have Read AI, we have, it looks like we're short on time. Read AI integrated with Jira, integrated with Slack, integrated with the development cycle, and having all those things be able to talk. Or my client strategist has her AI talking to her email and to Slack and to the project timelines and the requirements, so that she can say, what's the schedule for this? And the LLM just knows that.
Yeah, I'm going to wind us down. I will say, though, just a quick plug for Perplexity. If anyone's doing any research with their clients or for their clients, I found that to be massively helpful. So just to wind down real quick, for someone in the room who feels like their team is stuck, too much process, too much toil, just spinning, where would you tell them to start? What's one thing worth automating or cutting, or what's the trap of trying to fix everything at once? Really sort of like, what's one thing they can walk out with and give a start to? Just quick answers.
Automate your tests with AI.
Cool. What you got, Sonia?
What Jed said. Yeah.
Listen to Jed. That's always a pretty good advice.
I don't know, it's like the snowball effect. Pick the smallest problem. Story writing. I hate story writing. AI has made that so easy for me, and I'm sure my team loves it so much more.
There you go. Find the thing you hate, give it a shot. Right. Okay.
Hook up two things together. If you can hook up two things that you want to talk to each other, like that, you will start to see some magic, and you will start developing a new cluster inside your brain where you're like, oh, and you'll sound like Tim from that Home Improvement show.
Nice. All right, I'm going to hand it back over, but I'll also give a little plug for go to things. Go to things like this, go to other things, talk to smart people. And, it's a great way to learn.
Don't forget to fill out the survey on your way out, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Little plug there.
All right.
Unless you were going to say that again.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for our hosts from Clockwork. Thank you for a great panel discussion. I know that I've got a whole list of things to apply to what I'm doing tomorrow. I hope you took away something as well. If anyone thinks of something now, raise your hand. Tell me what thing did you take away from the discussion that you think you can apply or you're hungry to experiment with? Starting with a small problem is one of my favorites too. Thank you for that. Afterwards, there is a survey online. Bill's going to drop a little link in the chat. Good. We like to learn from what we do, and this is a bit of an experiment for us. We haven't had an in-person corporate partner event since before the pandemic, and we know we're not perfect at it. We've got some to learn, and we'd appreciate your help in telling us what did we do well and what can we improve upon next time. And come back next month, where we're going to meet at Kablooey. We'll get together again. You get to meet some more great folks that are doing things like you're doing, experimenting in different ways, and it's a great chance to come together and learn from each other. With that, I'll say thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you next month.